Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel. And in this one we have a 32 kill KHA'ZIX Season 13 bomb. And you know what's really funny? Every year I've made content. Every year at the beginning of the season we see what changes come forth. Who is strong, who isn't. There's always some assassin popping off with 30 plus kills, adapting, unfortunately, to the changes better than anybody else. Now sometimes it's Rengar, but not for a while. Most recent seasons, it's been the bug. Always finding himself in a place to win, to carry, to climb, to be the best jungler. And now we have Zib, the legend of Zib, on E West. Bo gonna show us how to play the game. Now, someone mentioned that, hey, why does Zach look like Venom? And I thought, hey, you know, actually, it's kind of true, but not really. But I guess you can see why. The Imperium skins, not a huge fan of all of them, but definitely high quality, you know. And the Zach does look pretty good. We have here a nice little fisting early on. Let's see who comes out ahead. Okay, KHA'ZIX is getting super low. Are we going to please let us know? Ooh, we lose our flash early. Warding Totem of the... It happens in Challenger. It happens in Silver. It happens in Gold. It happens everywhere. Junglers and laners will flash into walls. Right, Casadino First Blood. So, that's what we're going to be dealing with in this particular environment. We've looked at full clears, we've looked at unique cheese clears. Let's now look and see what happens when junglers, both junglers, are severely compromised in this early phase, but still have to find a way to impact lanes. And this is such a cool adaptation gameplay that we're going to see here. Now, the Zach walks across a ward he should know he's seen. Level 1, no HP. KHA'ZIX, on the other hand, says, right, I have, minimal HP, but it's 2 minutes 12. What can I do about this? And I actually love this. I actually love this level of aggression from Bo. We know the KHA'ZIX where he is. We know we can beat him 1v1. We know he's going to probably use his smite on the Raptors. The scan approach here is crucial, because if it's warded there, you know you're kind of screwed. We really need to be able to smite this away, but we do have the smite Q, or Q smite, depending what we want. And we want to make sure we can guarantee it. So we're just going to walk in there, get level 2, jump with our E. We'll get the auto attack, we get the Q, we get another auto attack, he dies. Well, should do. Let's have a look. Passive. Oh, wait. Yeah, he should die. There we go. ISO damage on the blob. This is important, right? You would have seen the runes on your screen. First strike, obviously we want to stack the monies. Don't forget all the Zada GG guides we will be updating. I will be updating all the modern builds, Season 13 builds this week and next week. So make sure you download those Zada GG guides if you're looking for roots builds, which pets for which junglers. I'm going to give you all of that information in there. And I'm prefacing what I'm about to say here with Bo going top lane to say, hey, Aatrox, can you die as well? Let's have a look. Oh, he gets a level up here. He's still healing. He's still discussing, but I am KHA'ZIX tanking all the minions. Can we do one more? Yeah. No, no, we cannot. Right. Fiesta. So the point of me discussing the guides with the jungle pets for different junglers and the items is because our break-even points for our strengths change depending on what itemization pass we go. But also, once you've finished your pet and you upgrade that into the raw smite jungle passive that you get, it changes the way you play the mid and the late game. So these things are all connected at the moment, right? Absolute coin flip Fiesta nonsense early, but I love it because back in the day, if we were 4 minutes level 2, we were thinking about AFKing in the game. No joke, we'd probably think about AFKing because it was like, it's doomed. There's no catch-up experience, or there's minimal catch-up experience, and lanes didn't rotate back then. Look at Zach, also level 2, trying to go for the gank here, which he's able to do. He gets level 3, that was the Amumu, excuse me, not the Zach. The Zach's killing the Amumu. I confused the teams for a second, and now Azir has no mana. Ezreal's rotating over here, knowing Zach has no passive, but he can pick up a Blobby to heal himself up. KHA'ZIX is taking the top crab, he's moving on down here, it's control warded, he scans, he ease over the wall. That was so close, and there's a Zach hippity-hoppeting away, as is the Rel. Did you follow? This is wild. This is like one of those pro games where just everyone goes against the norm and it's just fighting. So what you could have done is just done your clear and ignored the whole game, but at the same time, hey, you know the guy's going to use the smite on the Raptors. How can I take him out of the game? And I think the video on the main channel talks about this a lot here. Look, we've just taken a crab, let's rotate. Look, Amumu's coming up out of base, hits the Q, that's a stun. Nice kill. Caitlyn's not going to be running for her life, second Q. That bandage toss does hit. Azir shows up here, goes over the wall, makes sure he gets his sand soul just to auto attack. Double kill for KHA'ZIX. Now we can steal away a Grump. We left click, we see level 1, most important, and we're going to take that away. What are we learning from this? Think about it. Most of you are now thinking, How's this realistic? It's realistic because if all of this most random stuff, and he kited the camp there for the Q smite, if all of the most random stuff happens, it puts you on the back foot, where your clear timings are out of whack. The enemy jungler is getting away by not dying or you know, just being able to AFK farm and you can't match it. How do you adapt to randomness? How do you play around randomness from the jungle and still come out on top? And that's the skill. That's what we need as junglers. Now, obviously, we went and died top lane, and Aatrox is absolutely fisting what should be a pillar fister, but hey, there's nothing we can do about that. What lane do we want to snowball? This one. We have the Rel and the Caitlyn low. Amumu's somewhat out of mana. Bo says, okay, finally I've taken his Grump and taken the Raptors. I got my red. I'm level 4. I'm going to go the long way around for good Giga Power thing. Wait for the push a little bit here, knowing that they will be a bit more aggressive. Amumu goes for the flash Q there. We're just going to E on top of that. Make sure we get our... You can do your mid-air Q as well. Then you can get your unseen passive threat. You can animation cancel your W if you want to unload all of your damage as soon as possible. Remember, your unseen damage passive auto attack does give a baby slow. So if you want to stack your slows with your W, if they have summoner spells, like a ghost perhaps, and you could save it for the kill, but in this case just unload your damage. Nice. Right, we're 4-1-0, 29. Let's have a look where Zach is. Now obviously at this point you would anticipate he's on the top side. He goes and looks for camps, takes camps, doesn't really matter. You know, if he takes our camps, we don't care at this point. And as I said in the Camille jungle game, man, people are counter jungling. It's like, right, mention counter jungling and now everyone says, they nerfed it. Let me test it out. Oh wait, this still works. Wait, it's quite potent. You know why it's potent? Because jungle is having a little bit less experience later stages of the early game into the mid game because of the slower clear speed, because the jungle monsters, excuse me, are just tankier. So Riot's looking to buff the experience in the jungle to give us better clear mechanics as well, from the jungle pet specifically. Not so lanes can abuse it, but so we can at least get some salvaged goodness from, you know, whatever's left in our jungle. If it's whatever is left in our jungle after it's counter jungled. I try to get that all out in one sentence and didn't happen. So now we know the Zac took our blue side camp. So you go, okay, let's shadow mid lane, go down to the bottom lane here because I definitely want to get the bottom scuttle here. This neutral scuttle level 5 going to be absolutely huge for us to deny that to the Zachary, and obviously the Rel roaming here, which do a little E auto Q to make sure she gets yeeted. Zac is showing up here. Starting this is definitely an aggressive play, but we're basically banking on the fact that Kassadin should not be in the picture. So we're going to try and zone this out here with the Amumu. He's doing a good job. We have the speed up. We have the Ezreal Pry over the Caitlyn. She cannot rotate. He can. That's a free snack. We'll evolve our Qs after taking Hextech. Huge. Now let's join together and invade the Zac. We've reached our power level at 8 minutes. Not too bad. And we're a level ahead of the Zac here, who should know that they were going to do this afterwards. If you have smite, you can smite the Blobby as well. Caitlyn does kill the Amumu, focusing on the Blobbies there. Make sure we get that. We do. We activate our ultimate. We're on a trap, so we're stuck in time and space. And the Ezreal finishes up the Rel. Azir says, hello, can I show up? Kassadin says, I want to play too. We miss our W on the KHA'ZIX there, which causes us to die, although I think we're going to die anyway. You're in a whole bunch of sand soldiers there, buddy. And Kassadin kills the Ezreal, so... Are you following this? This is preseason, every season. It's always a bit of a nonsense. People are limit testing itemization, power things, experience. They play a little bit unhinged because it's very important to really put the limits on what's new and what isn't. The problem is some people are misconstruing that for trolling out of their minds. If you're one of those trolls that says, hey, look, they're playing a Fiesta and Challenger, yes, it's still a Challenger Fiesta. Right? No one's actively running it down and trolling this game yet. If you are, you're a dickhead, plain and simple. If you're one of those people that say, hey, it's just preseason, let me int and try stuff in a rank game, you're a shitlord. You know, go to normals and practice that stuff where it's meant to be practiced, because your MMR still gets affected. I hate seeing people peak Plat 4, Diamond 4, Diamond 2, think it's preseason. Okay, finally we get 9 minutes 34 on our 20 stacks. The Zac is about 5 stacks behind. Treats, he'll catch up. Hold this wave if your top laner isn't in the picture. Absorb that experience, 75% reduction until 15, so it's not as great as it was. Actually, it's a little bit more technically, I think, but I didn't get to finish my point because I was explaining it and then Aatrox showed up. So we're going to trap in the bush here. We're going to go for that Q max range auto attack into the W. We can then Q again. We're going to reposition with the Prowler Skull using our ultimate. We'll get another unseen passive threat auto, and then we Q to finish. Now, as I was saying, you know, your MMR gets affected. You know, if you're D2 now and you think, oh, I'm going to go troll and ranked, and then you go down to D4, you don't do your placements from D2 MMR, right? You do it from whatever your MMR is. Like, it's not preserving your MMR and saying, oh, how nice, in for 2 months, and then we'll keep it at D2. No, if you lose 50 games between now and placements, it's gonna affect your placements. Your lowest level of placement will go down. Why do you think so many high level people just don't play? Because it's not worth compromising your MMR over. So I don't know where this misconception came through, but it's not like it pauses it for you and leaves it. So don't troll in your rank games. Try stuff in normals if you want to do absolute nonsense stuff. But if you're playing irregular champions and testing builds, by all means, obviously ranked, but don't like go first time a Mumu ADC in mid lane and build later the Rune King and pretend it's because preseason. No, it's because you're a dick. So this game overall 6-2-1, we're doing a solid job keeping ahead of the Zac, obviously from the coin flip fiestas, and honestly the whole level 1 shenanigan nonsense was rectified because the KHA'ZIX saw the ward and did something about it. And what's the first thing you need to do in terms of randomness here is make sure you get the enemy jungle out of the picture, which he has done successfully, and the Zac's still 2-2-4. Careful here. Oof. Yeah. Can we get cleanup? No. Ezreal, my son! The homie just wants to farm. Here's Cassid. Okay, so this looks like it's not gonna work out very much for blue team. And are we giving doubles to a Cassid? No, we're gonna steal it for ourselves. Okay, so we bit off more than we can chew. But again, what is the thing I spoke about in the video on the main channel, 10 things I love and hate about jungle, that you love and hate about jungle? It's that when you have a lead over them, it's not always seen to fruition to the level of, say, top lane. Because you still have to go and deal with lanes. You still have to spend time doing dragons and heralds. And when you spend time doing dragons and heralds and going to lanes, it opens you up to counter jungling, which is what Zac did. It opens you up to the Zac tracking and counter ganking or ganking somewhere else. So they can always get back into the game a little bit. And if you make a mistake here trying to really take them out of the game, then the bot lane's going to show up. If you don't pay attention to those things, you have to. But so the lead he gained is beautiful. And of course, the lead we have is still huge. 90 CS to 48. We are definitely doing our job. And that blue smite there is what's going to make it absolutely disgusting. The Prowler's Claw is nice because we do have a lot of mobility and kite ability on the enemy team. It's not like a hyper mobile comp, but they have dash ability. They have dashes and CC, so the Prowler's Claw just gives us a damage up and a gap close where we need it. You could rush Ravenous if you wanted to snowball, but I think the Tiamat plus Prowler's Claw is a good 2 solid item combo, and then we can flex into the Ravenous and snowball with our lead thereafter. Now, as I said, we pushed the Zac out from our good reaction level 1. We didn't go blue grump wolves and then think about stuff. We just said, hey, I'm gonna go and do this because he's so low on Raptors. He's gonna have to smite Raptors to get level 2 and go to the red. So we know that in our advantage. And even if we didn't know that, you're still KHA'ZIX with Q smite, right? So there ain't no one out smiting a KHA'ZIX most of the time. And now we're stealing his stuff. We're counter jungling where we can. We're pushing it out of his jungle. We're taking that Hex Tech Dragon. Obviously Herald not on the cards, but it's fine. You know, we've got Azir here. We're shadowing this. It's a 5-1-3 Rod of Ages Kassadin. The only champion that seems to somewhat work with that item, although I still hate seeing it. You know, we're still doing our job here, right? 8-3-2. Right? 9 of 13 KP. They still have 4 more kills. The gold lead is still pretty much equal. And even with our lead here, you have to remember it's a Kassadin, so he has a lot more scaling on gold and experience and things. Like, Yi probably scales the most on gold in the game, which is a bit weird, but Kassadin is close. Now, Zac again goes ahead and ganks in the bottom lane here, so what you're seeing a lot of in this game should be representative of what you are seeing in your games. Hyperactivity, ganking, farming not giving us as much as we want. Okay, but the farming should still give you a decent amount. And that, I mean, don't spend too much time ganking because the experience in the jungle is a bit diminished based upon the tankiness of the camps and the slower farming tempo. We're evolving our W here second. We have our Ravenous Hydra. We've got the serrated dildo / actually, what the hell is its real name? Hex Drinker. There we go. Hex Drinker. We're going to Prowler's Claw in the mid lane. Go for the Cassadino there. We use our Prowler's Claw to gap close originally, and then we can use our ultimate to reposition with our E afterwards. We get a nice Q auto attack there again. Anti-passive threat reset from our ultimate. Zac is now chasing down. Can we check out a W? We do. We pop his passivo. And Rel is here kind of shadowing this, making sure, can I save you? And Amumu says, no. And Azir kills the blob. Red is up, again, straight into the jungle. Right, 2 down, red spawning, let's go. Why would we not do that? Only if there's something we can do about this. Level 11 versus level 9. I can't believe I forgot what Hex Drinker was for a second, because you know, yeah, I feel like we could see it more than we do, but we just don't really. And what's going on here now? And we saw the Rel warding as they do that, so we can, you know, trap her here. We can probably do an E mid-air Q into an auto plus a W, which we do, we are, and then we do another unseen passive third auto into the next Q. She dies pretty much easily. We have 19 stacks on a Hydra. Caitlyn is out of position. We're going to proc our second R. Nothing to do, so we'll snack this up in Hydra, Tiamat. The farming tempo allows us to speed up a lot more. Now we have the broken technology. KHA'ZIX with R in the Gust Walker pet item activation, because it allows you to get there's your damage. It allows you to get so far away from the bush. You're sitting in a bush and you're camouflaged with your movement speed, takes you basically like that original KHA'ZIX ult many years ago. We just had so much range, you could just like run across the lane basically using it. Gives you that same kind of power. Same thing with Rengar, that bush jump is now further. The Z, when people are looking to face check, you have movement speed to chase down should they back away. That movement speed for assassins from bush play and trapping and invading is huge, because your whole goal as an assassin is to snowball and make those picks. And if you're not doing that, then you know, the pet isn't the issue by 16, 20 minutes if you're always behind. It's your early to mid game. Not playing aggressive enough. You saw how Zip does it here, how Bo does it. Into the jungle, into the jungle, into the jungle. Translate to camper 2, see an opportunistic gank, we'll do that. Now look, we're not doing Krugs. Going into the jungle here, we're snacking this. We have the Shirilda's Grudge already for armor, penetration, and slows. That item slow has been broken, for the longest time. Zach's like, hey, wait a second, can I go up the wall? We said, we see you. Dinner is served. That was the dessert at the end there. You know, you had the entree, the main course, and the dessert, all wrapped up nice and tidy for a quick night out. And Laurel, can we take you down too? Yes, we can. It's effectively a quadra at this point. Prowler's Claw, Ravenous Hydra, Gus Walker, 15 kill KHA'ZIX. Just because people are not thinking about playing aggressively. When you play these champions, too often I see people doing the Krugs, Red, own jungle camps, not living in it. Just live in their jungle. Get the lead and live in it. And remember to use your anti-passive threat autos as much as possible. And don't always go in with your E. Here we can go in with our E because we know we want to dish out as much damage as possible. So we can E in mid-air Q, we can land, we get our anti-passive threat. Okay, that's this one right here. You see that? It slows you for 25% by 2 seconds. And essentially that allows you to reposition again using your ultimate. And we didn't really need any sort of E. But you've seen in other situations where he will, you know, E into a Prowler's Claw and then stick to them because he's got the slow and the damage. But earlier, you know, he used a Prowler's Claw and then saved his E to go after the Castle because of the ult. So you got to think about that as well. See, now we use our E to gap close because he knows the Prowler's Claw is coming. We are again and just, well, we missed that W. Well, the minions absorbed it. So you're seeing, think about the order in which you use E, Prowler's Claw, and your ultimate in terms of who you're trying to assassinate. Once you have enough damage, typically, you know, you can use your E to go in and Q mid-air, yada yada, but do think about it. Cooldown's pretty damn low though as well. We are now 5 into Q, 5 into W. You can see that. 2 into E at this stage, 8.22. That will scale down at this rate to 5.48. That will decrease with the more haste we get. We do have more of my Mortis completed. Our team is cleaning that up. Kassadin rotates over. We bandage toss into the Kassadin. That is not the move we want to make, although he lives, so maybe it is the move we want to make. And Rel's collapsing with a flank. Amuma's looking to try more stuff. Ezra's just poking out. KHA'ZIX shows up. You see there? Did you see that? Excuse me. We got the kill here, but let me show you from this perspective. Because we have the Gus Walker. Okay, watch. We're Eing to reposition because that E will be up again by the time we need it. Movement speed's at 496. Movement speed's at 535. And now we can R. Look how far he gets before he gets detected. Okay, so that movement speed with the ultimate, that's the spice of life. That's what we really want here. And now we just do so much damage. Oh. It's just so stupid. Ravenous Hydra, can we nerf it, please? I mean, KHA'ZIX is strong anyway. It doesn't need it. We haven't built it in years. Rengar, we haven't built it in years, but now everyone's building it. Can we nerf Ravenous Hydra? Katarina built it the other day against me. Yesterday it was. And we had her dead to rights. She Zonia's, then respawned and just did some Ravenous Hydra gaming, and we were like, okay. You get your HP back and we die. Trade offer. Accepted. It was quite unfortunate. So I do think we need to nerf that a little bit. The fact that this gives you 40 stat, like 248 physical damage to other enemies within 350 units of the target. They took away that scaling too, right? From 60 to 12 is just 60 flat. Yui. It's a lot of damage, guys. I do think this item will be railed in. I do think the jungle will get more experience. I do think these extreme scenarios will be brought down again, and I do think jungle will have a bit more experience. But that's why counter jungling hurts. You know, if you go for ganks and you don't get the kills, you die. Which happens. Ganks have inherent risks. That's what they should do. Power things should try and circumvent it to some degree. Try and create the biggest chance of success for a gank. But if you get counter jungled a few times, right, it's going to hurt you. It's going to affect you. We're going to snack away this red buff. We're slowing him in place. I stuck red buff. And again, look at this. We're just using movement speed. We're 487 at the moment. Alright, I'm going to see if we can track that number there. As always, I'll leave the match history in the description below. 535, because it decays. But still, Rel, hello. Be very cautious not to be engaged upon. That W was a little bit unnatural damage-wise as well. And the Mumu dies, but in and out gameplay, we're going to jump over the wall here. That's a dead. This is it, right? Although the game isn't over yet. The game isn't over yet. The Trundle's in the bottom lane there. He is 0-6-1. We're trying to carry an Inting bottom lane. We missed that one, but we get this real discussion. We're going to go in there for the kill, and we do die, so have yourself some fun, but don't troll. Split push is fine. They'll get inhib. They'll get bottom tower at least. They definitely want inhib from this. So that disruption, that in and out gameplay with the Gus Walker, huge. And again, that's what you're looking to do. As soon as you get the first kill, then it's a case of them running, and then you're chasing them down one at a time, which is what you want. And you're noticing how, as soon as Mumu died, he didn't just stay in the fight and try and kill everybody, right? He left, and then he came back in based upon the positioning. Ezreal is trying to kill somebody. We do get 2 inhibs, which is great. TP flank on the Trundle. It looks like they might try a Baron after this. Let's see. There's a lot of shutdowns going across. The Trundle is having a game of League of Legends. That's what he's doing. He lives because movement speed on W is strong. Right, KHA'ZIX is out of base. Do we think they're going to try and coin flip here? We don't have TP on the Azir. We don't have TP on the Trundle. The Trundle has very low mana. He's going to have to try. We're going to have to fight this. We're going to have to steal it. We can do it. Let's go. Right. Who's in position? Who's not? We're going to E over the wall to make sure we deal with the Rel first. Hit the target in front of you. If you get CC'd, reposition as much as you can. The Hex Trinket has a huge amount of damage, and Ravenous Hydra just shits on everyone and gives us Omnivamp. We're just queuing people. We're repositioning. It's a triple kill already. Quadra, kill the dude in front of you, which is the AA Tron. And now we're trapped in a trap. Doesn't really matter. We can E over the wall and just Q order. Doesn't really matter. That is a pentakill. And, you know, it's really difficult to cast all the abilities with such low haste timings, and when Ravenous Hydra just goes, you know, obviously the W is doing a lot, and the E is doing a lot, and the Q is doing a lot, but now the Ravenous Hydra is like, does it tell us the bonus damage? 7th. You can't see it. You can't wait. Can I minimize it for you? Man, no, I can't. I can't hide it for you. I'm sorry. I made it bigger. But it says 7,064 damage. I made it bigger because no one can see the scoreboard. So I wanted, you know, quality of life, and now I can't even show you the highlights. I'll have to try and figure something out for that. But 7,000 damage on the Ravenous Hydra. You know, I did 8,000 damage healing reduction on Zyra with the Morellos against a Vladimir and a Yumi before the patch dropped, like Season 12 patch. I thought that was pretty cool. You know, I've had a Leandries do like 6k and be like, hey, that's a lot of damage. It just shows up with 7,000, 8,000 damage on the Hydra on an item that doesn't require any sort of skill because there's no active anymore, unfortunately. And we got that Q plus a W there, plus another Q. Your Q's up basically all the time now. That pentakill shows us what happens when a KHA'ZIX with Ravenous Hydra gets fully stacked and has a Hex Trinket. That Hex Trinket is huge. We're going to dive the back line here, make sure we get that EQ auto onto the Casadina. We're going to shift on over with our Paralysis Claw and kill the Rel, and that should do it. 31 kills. Can we get another kill, perhaps? Mayhaps? Anyone want to spawn? 32 kills? Was it 31 or 32? As I recall it was 32, but maybe I just don't remember. It should be 31 at this stage. Aatrox wants to die. But little cheeky end of game stuff, but this is an absolute monster performance by Bo. Yeah, it is 32, there we go. And he lives. So an absolute monster KHA'ZIX performance. Random ass early game showing you how to adapt and think about, okay, first order of business, kill enemy jungler, remove enemy jungler. Then my lanes are safe. Then I can catch up, get level 3, and affect the lanes. That's all you're looking to do. And you're seeing with Gus Walker, with Hydra, with Prowler's Claw, with Cyrilda's Grudge, and with the Malmortias, the damage is insane. And obviously we went with the Ghostblade there for extra movement speed at the end. Huge. And the Death Stones for even more healing. That ended up only giving us 5,092 healing. 8,100 damage on the Hydra. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed and learned something. A little bit of a fun game, but definitely great preseason game to show you power curves. Make sure you download the Zada.gg KHA'ZIX guide and all the other jungle guides. New items coming fresh for you this week and next week. As always, I will see you all in the next tutorial.